Hello, this is Eric of Audiio, and today's video is about answering viewer questions as well as what is the game changer about the Rode Wireless Pro that you may not have thought about. Now, thinking about this question is actually answering a viewer's question, so let the questions begin. The wired lavalier not handling a high enough SPL to make the 32-bit make sense. Is that true? Well, let's find out, because it could be. So, right now, I am recording to digital camera and 24-bit and 32-bit float. And I'll show you right after this. I can record to all these devices, at least in 32-bit float, with a different wired lavalier that can handle the SPL. But this is also one of the killer features about the Rode Wireless Pro. But we'll get back to that momentarily once I answer a few other questions. Rode needs to release receiver to connect to cameras for time codes. That in fact is true, because the time code itself, to be able to have multiple time code receivers to different cameras and have them all synced up, would actually be very professional and replace a lot of the other timecode devices in the process. Having the one device that jams timecodes into multiple cameras, allowing drift, is not quite as professional as this truly could be. Now I'm going to show how easy it is to line up by waveform for audio. So let's line up by waveform. That's done. Now I'm going to go to the next one and next one, line up by waveform, auto align. And there we go. Let's see how consistent this is. Of Audiio, and right now we're using the wireless Ghost. So all three of these are basically lined up. Now I'm going to increase my 32-bit float audio because let's see. Look at those waveforms. They're really, really high here, but they're also really, really thin. So I'm not sure if you know what that means. It just means that the audio volume from quietest to loudest on 32-bit float is more different. Now if I increase my volume levels on the regular recording to make it look like the 32-bit float, this is the camera, you can see it's much bigger waveforms. That means it's much louder. And again, if I try to do the same thing with the backside of the audio here, 24-bit audio, to make it look almost like the other audio, again, we can see these two to the camera, and the 24-bit is more consistent, while 32-bit audio has larger and smaller waveforms, so your volume will change more on 32-bit float. Here I have three different waveforms. Right here we have the 16-bit audio, we have the 24-bit audio, and we have 32-bit float right here. Before continuing, I actually boosted the volume levels so it looks like they're clipping on purpose ahead of time, so I can emphasize each one individually, the 16, 24-bit, and 32-bit float. Let's see what happens as we pull these down. This is to the camera. It didn't clip the audio. So I had the volume to the camera really low, and that saved the audio from clipping. Now let's pull down the 24-bit internal recorded, and we can see it is flat, which means the audio is clipped. It's actually lost part of its waveforms, and it normally will sound bad, but this happens to be the lavalier 2, which was recording, and it clipped internally. 32-bit float did not clip, but the internal recording on the Go 2 at 24-bit did indeed clip. So Rode Wireless Pro would have saved our audio. Right now, we are testing 32-bit float audio and other recording types. I don't know if this is going to clip at all, but if it does, it's going to clip everything but 32-bit float. Of course, I'm trying to speak loud so I don't have to boost the camera audio very high at all. 24-bit and 32-bit float is what we are probably only getting right now, because our 16-bit to the camera doing this sort of setup is going to be pretty much garbage. So, yeah. This is what the Shure MV7X sounds like when connected to 32-bit audio connected to my devices, and 16-bit audio can't take much of a boost without creating lots of hiss. And that's one of the disadvantages of to the camera or 16-bit audio. Right now we are listening to the DD V-Mic D4. Now if I go down here behind and we go here, you'll see that this is directional audio, but now it's made wireless, so we can actually transport this anywhere without being connected to a camera. And that is very useful. It means that we are able to work with other devices beyond the road and get portable, quality audio without clipping. And one person asked why so many content creators use the Rode devices. Well, it's called consistency. Whether it be bad or good microphone, well, that is all a matter of who buys what. It's a no-name industry, just like Apple and iPhone is a no-name in the industry. However, let's remove this from the equation and go back to our Rode Wireless. Consistency of sound. Consistency in terms of generally what you get and what you expect is fairly consistent, and a person that's a creator or doing something usually likes to have the same results every time. Right now I'm charging the Rode Wireless device, and we're hearing this microphone right now, and I'm going to press the record button right now to see if I don't need the receiver, if I can just charge it and record internally. So if you're hearing this right now, then it worked. If you're not, and I'm skipping somewhere else, then obviously it didn't work to record internally. So there's that. Hopefully it did work, but if it didn't, I'm now going to try the receiver. Useful questions like this, where you're asking something where I can test it, are the kind of questions I love, because a lot of people, including myself, were concerned about battery life. This right now is the microphone I have connected to the camera, and this is what I have to line up with, is this microphone right here. And let's go back to right now you're hearing this microphone because, well, I have it recording internally. So that's the difference between these two microphones. And of course, this is not connected to the camera. We are only hearing internal audio. When it comes to wireless devices, you may wonder what device for what use case. When it comes to, say, the DJI mic, I do like that for recording the sounds of nature. Now, if you're in a busy, crazy city that's making a lot of noise, the Rode Wireless Pro would definitely be better because it doesn't pick up everything around you as much as the DJI mic. The Holly Landmark Max is also a great option for recording outside. And it also has environmental noise cancellation. Some people find the sound a bit unnatural. I do like it for if a car's driving by, it at least reduces that noise so you can focus on yourself or the actor. Now, the Rode Wireless Pro is an impressive device, and it's your questions that got me thinking about the lavalier port and how you can take any device, even if it doesn't have internal recording, and you may love that device, but it's like, I can't record internally, and that's useful. But now you have 32-bit float for something that didn't have 32-bit float in the first place. And that Shure MV7X sounds most excellent at 24-bit and 32-bit options. 32-bit float can be lifted like 70 decibels without getting a bunch of hiss in your audio. 24-bit might only be about 30-ish or so decibels before starting to introduce that hiss. Well, 16-bit, you have about, what, 15, 16 dB, though there was more hiss because it amplifies any hiss in the audio, and camera DACs aren't exactly the cleanest. So there's that. This is Eric of Not Bio Studio. Don't forget to subscribe to help this channel grow, and if you're subscribing right now or already are subscribed, then you, yes, you are awesome. Leave your questions below because it's questions that you asked and things you mentioned that made this video possible. Thanks again for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day.